You know what time it is. It's time to put on your earphones, sit down in a comfortable chair, face it toward the wall, and do nothing else except listen to my voice for 45 minutes. That's how people listen to podcasts, right? They fully focus on them. They do not do anything except listen and perhaps visualize with your mind's eye. What do I look like? What does my voice sound like? What are all the words I'm saying? You're definitely not driving or washing dishes or at work, looking at spreadsheets while you listen to this, right? That would be downright criminal. You've probably noticed you're only hearing one voice this week. It's mine. My name is Matt Silverman. I'm only a co-host of this fine program. And my other co-host and my dear friend Colette Bennett is away. We were set up to record today, and there was a family emergency that she had to attend to. So I do hope that everything is okay. And we haven't sat down with you in a little bit here, and I just wanted to get some stuff off my brain and also cover what are we in February 2026 Sony State of Play. I've never owned a PlayStation in my entire life, but I like that when Sony does a State of Play, I can look at it and be like, yay, here's some games coming to the personal computer that I will get to play too. Usually day and date, sometimes later. And that's cool. And I watched it with my son, who is 9 years old. And we sat there and we watched a lot of gory violence and people's heads getting stabbed open and Resident Evil, creepy, whatever monster bullshit there was in the State of Play. And he turned to me and said, I wish there were some games here for me. And I said, bro, same. I feel you. Before we get into the State of Play, just briefly, I am playing all the usual bullshit. Really enjoying Elder Scrolls Online, and I feel just very invested in that video game. Not necessarily from a social or I gotta achieve all the things, but it's kind of just I just have to go to work today. You know what I mean? I'm trying to level up various crafting skills, and I'm trying to accrue enough funds to expand various inventory systems so that I can do more crafting, which will allow me to sell more things on the player market, and then I can get other cool furniture for my house. I just am very enamored with the player-driven economy of this game. And I'm kind of playing Elder Scrolls Online like Animal Crossing in a funny, weird way, where it's just log in, do my chores, see what's happening, see what people are doing and saying around the towns. And this game is so freaking big. It's a giant world, and I'm just so enamored with everywhere I go, every dungeon, every town, every little waypoint, every little spot. There are so many players running around doing stuff, and I'm just yeah, man, I'm just one of many people here trying to get by, trying to earn a living. So like Animal Crossing, check in, do some daily tasks that are earning me whatever currencies and experience I need to do. Then I can check various guild traders in order to see what's for sale. And these are all items that are sold by players. So if there's a cool piece of furniture that I'm interested in, it's whoa, this costs a lot of money and I'm saving up for this other thing, but maybe this is cool. And it's just fun to spend a day doing your chores and then go shopping, and then that's it. And I'll just check in with you tomorrow, Elder Scrolls. So, every time I read about this game, there is more to do, and I'm very interested in that. So that's that. I'm kind of just sitting around on a fleet carrier in Elite Dangerous, stowing away, tagging along on this the Distant Worlds 3 expedition, which I just learned earlier this week has set a course, I think, for the very furthest point in the Milky Way galaxy. I don't know if that's like the furthest point from Earth or if it's like the most extreme star away from the center of the galaxy. I don't remember, but it's called Beagle Point, and I will be there. I might even be there now. I got to log in and see where the hell everyone is, but that is very cool. And then the other thing that I wanted to just touch on very briefly here is Mewgenics, which is the game from, I don't remember their names and I'm not looking at it now, but it's the person slash people who brought you The Binding of Isaac. And this game, just like, I guess it has been in development for many years, so like there are people who have been waiting so long. I was aware of it. I think it was on my wish list, and then I was reminded that it came out. Lots of like super positive reviews, and this is a game that is super up my alley. It is a tactics game, but you are breeding cats and like trying to prioritize their genetic traits, which are like buffs and attacks and combo systems that obviously I am not very deep into the game, and I'll tell you why that is in a moment. But I guess I would say how I perceive this game, if I could do my best to like summarize it in systems that make sense to you. It's Fire Emblem. You know, it's the grid-based combat where your heroes with different abilities are doing different tactics. Right? It's XCOM. It's Fire Emblem. But then it's also sort of like Darkest Dungeon, where you are building a roster of combatants and they can definitely die or be injured permanently. And then you have to make decisions based on who is still standing and who's left and whatever. And that maybe better put is like what happens on the battlefield then deeply informs like what you do back at the base, which is just like this shack where all your cats just like, fuck each other and fight each other to kind of like breed the next generation. So the interplay between those two systems is really, really cool and really, really fascinating. And then I think the third layer that I have not really scratched too much yet, but and I didn't even make that pun intentionally. Scratched, get it? Because it's cats. And cats have claws on their paws, and they scratch. Usually, they scratch each other in the wild, but then they could scratch furniture, because it's cats. So that's a joke. I think there's like a layer of Balatro on top of this, and I don't mean that they like kind of stole or cribbed from Balatro per se, but it is a roguelite. It is a run based game system. And I think what starts to happen is like, oh, I've mutated these things and I'm on the fourth generation of this cat, which like maybe it has a broken leg, but it does this sick, damage thing that affects the environment. And then also I have this other cat that also does this. And then there's like an environmental condition that is electricity, there's lightning. So it's going to like reactivate this and that, plus this sick, like, weapon I found on the ground in one of my previous runs that was handed down to the next generation of cats. Like, boom, this thing and this thing and this thing together, which I sort of planned and also fell ass backwards into by accident, combined breaks the game. And now I have like a super team of cats that are unstoppable for this run in that way that like certain combinations of jokers and multipliers and modifiers makes a run in Balatro like your last run was like, there, how could I ever possibly overcome this boss? And then the one you do after creates this game breaking system, and you're like, I'm unstoppable. In one round later, you're like, I have destroyed the game somehow by chance. I think there is a lot of that in this game, and that is so all of these systems combined, where it's like tactical Fire Emblem, party management slash, breeding systems, plus infinite amounts of build combination, like emergent build, I don't know, scenarios, whatever we're going to call that. Those three things combined are those are ingredients for my favorite kinds of video games, and so it's excellent. There's three things that I'm struggling with right now. One, game came out of the gate and was like, full controller support, Steam verified. It's for everybody. It's for people on the couch. It's for people on Steam Deck. You want to play mouse and keyboard? It's also that too. And I was like, oh my God, speaking my language, love it. Let's go. There is some just super annoying bug where every second battle, the D-pad stops working properly. So you're like, all right, I'm going to move my cat, and then I'm going to move him here, and then I'm going to select this, and then you get it to the next battle, and it's like, well, I can't select the menu things that I need to select. And I'm like, am I stupid, or am I not understanding the controls? And what you have to do is then go into the menu and like toggle a setting off and on, and then go back, and it's fine. And then you're like, cool, I can play the game again. And then you go to the next battle, and it's like, and it's broken, and you got to go back in the settings. And it's just like, games are hard. This is a very complex game, and it's a very deep game, and it's been in development for so long. But like, you come out and you publish a game, and it's like, hey, this is Steam Deck verified, and then Valve does some sort of testing, I presume, and says, yep, it's verified, and then everyone gets it, and you're like, it's broken. I can't play. Like, what the fuck? I don't. And it's fine where it's like, 50 runs in, there's a weird trait that makes the game bug out. Like, bugs are bugs, no problem. But this is like, I was in the tutorial and thought I thought the game was broken, or I was like, my Steam Deck was broken, because I was like, why the fuck isn't this? Why can't I select this thing? And how could that have not come up during like the verification process? Anyway, super weird. It's not patched yet, despite the game being out for, I don't know, half a week plus a week of reviews. It's very strange. My second beef with the game is that the art style is great. It's that grotesque, weird 2D Binding of Isaac style. Everything's very gray. Everything's looks like film. It's like a comic strip, but it's very dark and gruesome, whatever. And that's great. But when you're on the battlefield, the squares that indicate where your cat can move are like a flickering green color, and that green means go. So that makes sense. And then you're like, okay, my cat can move here. My cat can move here. And then as you are deciding where the cat can move, there's also then appears like a border of like slightly grayish orange, but also sort of brownish green, that indicates where the attack radius of the cat, where the cat can attack with its basic attack, and that does not account for it. There's a lot in this game, and I won't get too far into it. But it's like, you have weapons, which are separate. You have a basic attack, which your cat can always do. You can get weapons. You have spells. You have mana. This is just showing like, hey, if you move here, this cat's basic attack can go here, here, and here. And so it's like this like light green movement, and then next to that is like a light medium brownish orange color, which is all flickering because it's like a film, everything looks like a film strip or whatever, and layered where everything is gray. And then on top of that, you've got all these like obstacles, and you obviously have the units and the enemies on the screen. So I'm like, and I'll also say, like, if you make a mistake in certain runs, you're done. Like, the tactics get very granular, which is great. Like, that's why the game is awesome. And if you fuck up, things can go spiral out of control for you, and you will lose, and that's fine. And so all of these factors are combining where I'm playing this game and I'm like, every time I move a unit, I'm like, I can't fucking see anything. I cannot determine if I'm moving here or am I attacking here. And if I move here, you know what it is? I'm moving here, which is then creating an attack range. And it's this lightly pulsing color that's underneath the enemy that I'm trying to attack. And it's like barely visible. And I'm like, so if I move here, will I reach the enemy or not? I literally cannot see it. And I think part of that is because like I do have some color vision like challenges with like brown. If you have brown, green, and orange, like all that are very similar to each other, and they're all like flickering and they're right next to each other, I'm like, this all looks like one fucking brown color. Like, what the fuck am I looking at here? So what I'm trying to say is this game is extraordinary, but playing it right now is so fucking annoying. And it makes me not want to play it. So they need to fix the controller issue, which many people are experiencing. I am not alone. It's not like a bug that's affecting my system or whatever. And number two, they need accessibility settings for color blindness or whatever, because like it's fucking bad. And I sent a screenshot to my wife. I was like, who has no issue with seeing these differences. I was like, look at this square and look at this square. Like, do these look different to you? And she was like, barely. They barely look different. I'm like, okay, thank you. It's just for as meticulously designed as this game is from a mechanical and aesthetic point of view, it's like they just fucking shat the bed with the user experience. It's not good. Anyway, so waiting for some patches on that. The third thing that we've been talking about in the Discord, and I'm really, really struggling with and conflicted about, is that Sky, a friend of the show, a community member, of course, Sky Berkson, shared that there was this Rock Paper Shotgun article. I think it came out of a Reset Era post, which was like, hey, they released all the cameos that are in the game, and there's no voice acting in the game, but apparently all the meowing of the cats are done by many, many different like weird random internet culture people, YouTubers, whatever. Meme people, who knows? It's a lot of people. Some and some you're like, who the fuck is this person? And they did this interesting thing where it's like, while we made the game, we identified the like very extreme, random / zeitgeisty people that have been prominent in like weird internet culture during the time of making the game. And a lot of these people are like, oh, this YouTuber that you may or may not have heard of. And then this person who like was popular for 5 seconds and like, and I think that's a funny, weird, quirky idea. And then the other part of this is that spectrum of internet weirdos also includes like people who are very progressive and very like, just, thoughtful, seemingly normal people. And then also like really rabbit hole conspiracy, bizarre InfoWars adjacent people. And so as people were sort of noticing this and calling it out, I guess the guy, is it McMullen? Edward McMullen? Edwin? I'm looking at Edward, is it McMillan? Edward McMillan. He was basically like, oh, you know what? I'm going to read the quote for you. I'm going to read the quote because I thought it was useful here. There's a brief rundown of the people included. This is from Rock Paper Shotgun by a news writer named Mark Warren, and they are writing. It was a Reset Era post. The presence of YouTubers Ethan and Ela Klein of H3H3 Production has drawn criticism. And I get that. This is a weird thing. I really was a fan of H3H3 back in the day. I did used to listen to their podcast before things kind of spiraled out. And the gist of this is that they were comedy YouTubers, and they were very funny, and then they sort of became this like Howard Stern slash this kind of show, and it was all, then there's all these feuds with other YouTubers, and honestly that's where I kind of checked out. I was like, I don't give a shit who's yelling at who, whatever. But because they are Jewish, and I believe Hila I know she is Israeli and like served in the Israeli military. Their stance as the Gaza conflict emerged, they ended up sort of being very Zionist and not really recognizing the truly horrificness of the actions of the Israeli government. And again, I'm not in the weeds on what their actual political stance is, but I understand enough from reading around the context of that, that it is, that is not a place that I want to inhabit anymore. Like I can't, be watching or subscribing to a channel like that. So that's, and, I think that is a very, I hesitate to call it a complicated issue because I think it's a very straightforward issue. Genocide is genocide. It's not there's not really a ton of gray area there, but in my opinion, but I understand how people are conflicted or can't get their heads around some of that stuff. But then on the other side, there is apparently there is one of the meowing cats is Matan. I do not even know how to pronounce this name. Matan, Matan, Even, Even, not Evan, who is a 15-year-old, I don't know what you call them, prankster. This was the guy who ran up on stage during the Game Awards in 2022 and shouted something while I think it was like Elden Ring was accepting an award. Who the fuck knows? But I think the more important part of that story is that this kid, when he was 12, like appeared on InfoWars, which is the Alex Jones horror show, and was like, "Thanks for having me on InfoWars. I love InfoWars. Like I love all this shit." So basically he's like some sort of like internet prankster who's also like aligned with or adjacent to all this horrible conspiracy shit. But is he right wing or is he not? And like he like will jump on stage and say free Hong Kong, which I think we can all agree that's a good idea, except is that a lot whose ideology is that free Hong Kong t-shirt aligned with? I don't know enough about this to really understand the true nature of all these people, and this is what. And so I want to read the response from McMullen. They were both okay. So he reached out to all these people and was like, "Do you want to be included?" And so the bottom line quote here from McMullen: "I understand we live in a time." I'm going to start over because I want to really hammer it home. McMullen says, "I understand we live in a time where a meow from someone who has different beliefs as you is scary and frustrating, confusing and controversial. But it felt interesting, so I decided to explore it. And he goes on to say, also, I should probably point out that I don't share the same opinions as well, probably any of the people included." And I am having a tough time with this, and we were talking about it in the Discord too, because part of this feels like a very fascinating piece of like deep internet avant-garde performance art where it's like, hey, we live in the most divisive culture imaginable. That is worth talking about. That problem slash situation that we find ourselves in is worth commenting on within a work of art. So what if I reach out to all the craziest people on YouTube and on the internet and have them all say meow into a microphone, and that's part of the world of this game? Because this game is weird and crazy and fucked up, and wouldn't it be fascinating to put weird, crazy, fucked up people into the DNA of this game, and then to challenge the audience to say, if you are bothered by that, you should think about why you're bothered by that. And now I can't stop thinking about that. And I find it to be really interesting. And on the other hand, I don't want to play a video game or give money to a video game, which I've already done, for better or worse, that contains a person who says, I think InfoWars is great. Because InfoWars is like at the tippity top of the most horrendous, horrible shit you could ever imagine being part of our media discussion. And it's not like Alex Jones is the guy saying meow. It's not anyone who works at or is perpetual whatever who makes InfoWars per se. It is just a 12-year-old, 15-year-old dumbass who was like, blah, I think this is cool. I'm here. I like attention. I don't know what to do with that. I was talking about it with my wife this morning, and yesterday I felt really angry about it. Look, let me back up. There's so many more things to be angry about. I spent my week and last week, number one, being sick, so that's sucked, and then number two, catching up from being sick to make a presentation to a room full of 200 high school students about the dangers and the fucked upness of social media, algorithmic social media, and then how that's being fucked up by AI, and how like it's just really not good out there. So I've spent a lot of my recent hours, as we all have, thinking about how fucked up the world is becoming. And so when I sit down to play a video game and I'm like, wow, this game is so good. Fuck. What the is all this all now? I got to think about this shit too. It's not really on the scale. It's not necessarily on the scale of like fucked up things that we should be worried about. Is like, who is saying meow in this video game? And yet, I'm super bothered by it because I just want to play this game, and now I don't know if I should. And so anyway, yesterday I felt really bothered by it. Today, I then kept reading the quotes and rereading the coverage of this and kind of looking around the internet to see if anyone else is bothered by this. And I'm starting to be less bothered by it. Do I like it? No. No, period. Full stop. I do not like it, and I am disappointed by it. But like, part of me is kind of like, this is a compelling way to inject like a question about our society into a fucked up game about cat eugenics. I'm not exactly sure what it's trying to say, but I think in connection with Macmillan's response to it, I do think it's saying something interesting, and I don't know if I need to fully reject that. I haven't decided yet, and I'm going to keep thinking about it. In the meantime, I will play more of the new update to No Man's Sky, which is very underwhelming, but has a cool expedition where you're like picking up trash off of one planet and hauling it around, Death Stranding style. Obviously, No Man's Sky is about hopping in your spaceship and going to 500 different planets. But in this expedition, for the very first time, you have no spaceship and you're just picking up trash and trying to not spill it as you drive it across a desert. And I'm like, yeah. Do I want to do that? No. Do I need to own the sick ass clothing skin that I will get if I complete this expedition in the next, is it 5 weeks? Yes. Yes, I do need to get the outfit. Am I going to have fun playing the game? No. The general opinion about this expedition is that it kind of sucks. It's not a good one, but will I do it? You better fucking believe it, man. I gotta get to work. Let's talk about state of play. I'm gonna blast through it here. We kicked it off with Kena. Is it Kena? Kena. I think it's Kena. Kena, Scars of Cosmora. It was funny. I was watching with my son, and this trailer came out, and it's very beautiful with these very, this is a sequel to Kena, Bridge of Spirits, which I never played, but this sequel now reminded me that game existed, and not only is kind of like, I never played that. I should look at that. And then reminded me like, oh, I guess the game did well enough that they're making a sequel. Great. It's very beautiful and has a very like Pixar DreamWorks animation style. So my son is watching it and I'm looking at it and he's like, "Oh, I know what this is. I think this is like this is like from a movie that I watched." I'm like, bro, I don't think you know this. I think this is a new game." And then they reveal the title and I'm like, "Oh, that thing." I was like, "Buddy, you don't know this game, but maybe we should check out this game." It's really beautiful, and it's a third-person action game. Combat looks cool. You get this cool fox, wolf type animal companion, which may or may not have been in the original game. I guess my gut reaction to it was that, like, before I knew it was part of the franchise, I was looking at it being like, okay, it's yet another game about some mystical child who has to save the world from some corruption, and it's like the tree, the environment spirits, the nature spirits are good, and the spirit world is good, and then the corruption is bad, and it's like every fucking game in the universe, every game, every show, every movie is like, if only there was a chosen one to save us from the corruption that's messing up nature, and then you fight the bad guys, and then the nature returns. It's like, yeah, okay, I like nature as much as the next guy, but give me let me play a game where I breed cats and they fuck each other, and then the new cat can throw a stick at an enemy for +5 damage. All right, let's get something new going. Next, they showed a sick-ass samurai co-op game that looked pretty rad, and then it ended up being the multiplayer expansion for Ghost of Yotei. And that reminded me, too, that Ghost of Tsushima, what is this single-player, cool, sick-ass, whatever, samurai ninja game, and then they expanded it with a multiplayer thing, which people seem to really dig, which appeals to me. So there's more Yotei, and I'm kind of jealous because like I kind of don't think I'm gonna buy Tsushima on Tsushima. I don't know which one it is. I don't think I'm gonna go for that one. I think I'm gonna go for Yotei when it hits PC because I want the sort of like refined, perfected, upgraded, better version. And so, this looks cool. I like it. Death Stranding 2 coming to PC. Cool. There's a new game. I don't know if this was previously announced, but it was new footage or something for a game called For Loop, which is a co-op action something. It has the makings of something I'd be interested in, but there was just something about the vibes on this one that were just kind of flat for me. I don't know why. They showed more Pragmata, which is Capcom's sort of you're a dude in a armor suit in a post-apocalyptic world, and then there's a cute android girl who is like, I'm sorry, I don't mean cute like she's sexy. I mean like she's a child, but she's an android, and she's like, why is the world messed up? And you're like, because the apocalypse happened, and she's learning about the world. It's an interesting premise, but there is just something about this game that looks to me like, okay, okay. Am I playing another post-apocalyptic world game? I got Arc Raiders to play. Speaking of which, I got to get back to Arc Raiders. I got to get my shit together for the next season reset, the expedition. I think I've got only 3 more weeks. I have a full-time job and have to parent these goddamn kids. And I have to spend time with my wife, blah, blah, blah. But I gotta like train my horse in Elder Scrolls Online. Okay, I gotta finish the expedition for No Man's Sky. I'm out at the edge of the fucking galaxy in Elite Dangerous. Okay, gotta pay attention to that. And now I gotta finish the season for Arc Raiders before the end. I am busy, my friends. Shit to do. All right? Don't call me like you want to hang out or like, oh, it's my dad's birthday next week. Fuck off. I'm busy. Okay. Resident Evil Requiem got a gameplay trailer. This is where I was like, oh, okay, I remember this guy's face. Oh, nope, this is Resident Evil. Oh, fast forward, as people are getting shot in the face and monsters are like ripping people's arms off. I'm like, hey, buddy, I'm just going to fast forward through this part, and we're not going to watch that. Legacy of Kain Defiance Remaster. I do not know anything about Legacy of Kain. People seem to like Legacy of Kain, and it looks like a fun action game, but it looks pretty. There's a lot of, it's just remakes and remasters. If you like this game, this looks like a cool upgrade. If you have no context for this game, then it looks like a game from 2008 or whenever it's from. I have no idea. Brigandine Abyss. A remake for Brigandine Abyss has been announced for PS5. I don't know what any of those words mean, but I hope that whoever knows what Brigandine Abyss is will enjoy this remake. Dead or Alive 6 and Dead or Alive 6 Last Round. So I think that's an update or some update for that is happening. Plus there is a new Dead or Alive, which they showed some cinematic trailer. I've never played Dead or Alive. I think Colette explained Dead or Alive to me either on the podcast or maybe privately as just like big boob ladies fighting. I don't think that I will be caring about that. Let's talk briefly about Control Resonant, because the gameplay that they showed in the State of Play was like, hell yeah. I did not finish Control, and I feel bummed about that. And every so often, I'm like, I should finish Control. And so when they announced Revenant, I was like, it's Revenant. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not Revenant. Resonant. Hopefully I said it right at the top. Control Resonant. It was like, whoa, new Control, and it looks like a cool premise, and it looks like a cool continuation of the story. But they were like, yo, if you like Control, there's going to be so much more controlliness in this one. You should watch this gameplay footage because, like, it looks fucking sick. You have telekinetic powers and you're moving through the air and you're whipping stuff around and you're flying and you're smashing and you're juggling enemies and all that stuff. But as you like leap up into the air, you can also sort of like, I don't even know how to explain this, change the direction of gravity. So imagine, you know how you're playing Spider-Man and you're like leaping off of a building. But in this scenario, instead of like slinging your web and swinging to the next building, you are like hitting a button and the entire world rotates around you, and now you are landing down with your feet, but on the side of the building. And the side of the building is now the ground, and the side of the building is now the bottom of the building because you're walking on it. And all of a sudden, you're fighting a bunch of enemies and you're like on the side of the building. But your perspective as the player is still right side up. So it's this fucking sick, like, I don't even know, Rubik's Cube, like rotating glow world. It's just uh, the fact that they can create this massive, at least in the chunk that they showed us. Maybe more of the game is sort of boxed into like corridors or whatever. But I guess my point is, whereas the first Control game is like you're in the oldest house and you're in corridors and you're picking up things and you're in like little battle arenas, or you're moving down hallways, and that was like creepy and cool and strategic, and it's obviously great. This is like, hey man, go out into the city and fucking go anywhere and flip the world upside down whenever you want and fucking punch Demon Hiss in the face. Go watch this footage, because holy shit, man. Crimson Moon, a brutal melee action game in which you and fellow players can rip apart all manner of demons. It looked like, what if the graphics of like a Diablo 3 were like in 3D and was like a third-person action game. It just looked super generic to me, but maybe I'll love it when it comes out. They showed more of Game Freak's of Pokemon fame. Have you heard of Pokemon? It's like these little cute monsters, and you put them in balls, and then they fight each other. The kids love it. They're making Beast of Reincarnation, where you are a sick samurai lady, I get, or I mean, I don't know if you can be other types of samurai people, but you're a sick samurai lady, and you also have a wolf, just like Kina. So maybe that's why those were kind of conflated in my brain for a second there. And you fight sick, I don't know, Souls-like monsters, Elden Ring style creepy, crazy monsters. And it looks cool. It looks good. I don't know, man. I just feel like all the generic anime games and all the generic fighting games and all the generic third-person fight these big monsters games, they are all blending together. They all start looking like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, anime bullshit, and I am kind of exhausted by all of it. So who knows, if of all of them, Beast of Reincarnation does look kind of interesting to me, but we'll see. Guess what? Remember Rayman? I don't know. I know Rayman, but who? I'm sorry if this offends you. Who fucking cares about Rayman? If you care about Rayman, you can get it the 30th anniversary collection, which has a bunch of games in it, and it's out today. Today, Friday the 13th. Wahaha. So I don't know. Is it good? Let me know if you like Rayman. Mina the Hollower has a demo now. They already had a demo on Switch. I don't know if that is still out there, but I guess now they're having a demo on PS5. Why would you put a demo on one platform but not on the other platform? It's weird. I played this is from the Shovel Knight people. This game looks really, really cool and beautiful in a like NES or Game Boy Color. I think it's more like a Game Boy Color graphics presentation, and everything about it. Just, I loved Shovel Knight, and I loved everything about the gameplay and aesthetics of Shovel Knight, even though I'm not a platformer person. And now this is sort of like a top-down GBA Legend of Zelda, but with crazier mechanics kind of a game. And I'm here for it. And I tried that demo, and I really did not enjoy it. I found it to be I found the controls to be very awkward and off-putting. I found whatever the mechanics were of like digging under enemies and popping out, I just didn't really it didn't really click. And maybe that's because I just wasn't in the right headspace at that time. So I am very eager to like try again. But it did not jive for me in the way that you pick up Shovel Knight and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna bounce all over every fucking enemy and bubble and pop this thing and dig here. And like Shovel Knight just feels great in the hands right away. And Mina was like, I don't know about this. So we wish Mina the Hollower all the best to Mina's family. Remember Greece, and then remember Neva, which I don't know if those games are connected in like lore wise or whatever. But these beautiful side scrolling sort of very not hand painted, but just like beautiful 2D animated games. I played however you say it, and really enjoyed it. But that was a very long time ago. Never picked up Neva, and now there's a game called Neva Prologue, which I suppose is like maybe the prequel, if you will, to Nava, hoo ha. Looks good. I don't know if those games are for me anymore, but check it out. Oh, it's DLC. Oh, it's DLC for the original game. Comes out soon on the 19th. Cool. Yako Shinobi Ops. Oh, this is the like Shinobi Samurai Ninja Tactics game. It looks pretty okay. And you're like stealthing your way into a castle to try to like steal treasures. That's cool. I'm open to it. Can we just stop a minute and talk about Project Windless? This was the most unhinged, weird thing of the whole thing. It starts with this like, really like serious, like, witch sorceress who's like, they stole everything from us and nature is good and bad guys are bad. The corruption, we must stop the corruption. Stop me if you've heard that premise before. And so it looks like this like dark gothic, gruesome, some sort of 3D action game, right? And then all these monsters and zombies, and all of a sudden the hero, slams in and like chops them all up, and it's like sick action, blah, blah, blah. And then the camera pans around and the hero is a giant chicken man. And so you play this video game, Project Windless, which apparently in the trailer is like based on the best-selling books or something. This is like a known IP that has a name called Project Windless. Sorry, when I say project into my microphone, it really pops the plosives. Can't even say this name without breaking my podcast setup. From the minds that brought you this sick lore comes a sick action 3D video game where you are a chicken man hero. You're a sick muscle guy, but you have feathers and you're a chicken. And everything about this game, you're like, it looks like a Musou game, like a Dynasty Warriors game, where there's just massive, massive hordes of zombies and enemies, and it's coming towards you, and the battle's you're turning the tide of battle, and then you step on the battlefield with a giant sword, and you're like, and honestly, where every fucking 3D action game looks the same, I'm looking at this like, oh, this game looks pretty good. And then the player character stands up, and it's like, but I have to be a chicken man? Like this, I want to play this video game, but then I don't want to be the chicken man when I'm playing that. I'll tell you what I do want to be. I want to be playing Star Wars Galactic Racer right now. Why isn't this game out? This was, with a few exceptions here, the only game that I'm like, and we've seen this before. I think they showed it at the Game Awards or some other direct after that. I fucking need this in my life, man. I'm a sucker for Star Wars, and they're, that we've been eating decently well with Star Wars games recently. And this, I am not a racing car. I've said this before. I said it with Colette. It's like I'm not a racing game guy unless it's Mario Kart. I'm not a car guy, but like just replace the cars with sick spaceships, or they're showing speeder bikes, which is a factor, a part of Star Wars Outlaws that they did so well, where you are like creeping around, different, the huts or the Imperial bases, and then they're like, get her, and then you hop on your speeder bike and you blast away, and it's like, fucking yeah, man, that's what I want to do in Star Wars. And so this Galactic Racer just looks so great. I don't think there's no release date, just 2026. That was the other that was the other thing that my son and I were both kind of saying to each other, where it's like they're like, check out this sick video game that you're gonna love, coming at some point in the future. No release date, no demo, no whatever. It's like, okay, I want to play something now, dude. They showed off more 007 First Light. I am interested in this game. Like, I think this looks like a really well done interpretation of Bond. I like James Bond. I've never played the Hitman games, but that studio is making this, and like, I hope this succeeds. I think this is a cool way to go for James Bond as a franchise. I think the big news that was really exciting a lot of people was that there's a whole, I guess these are remasters of Metal Gear Solid and multiple Metal Gear Solid games. I have never played these games. They do not appeal to me, but I understand that these are obviously major games, and if you like Metal Gear, then this is cool. This looks cool, and I hope the remasters are good and cool. I don't know, man. Even the footage that they showed looked so like, this is so goofy and dumb. Like, I guess the box art looks like this is a sick, serious game about a serious man, and then they show the dialogue and it just seems like classic Kojima nonsense, and I was just like, people like this? Okay. So if you like Metal Gear, look, I like a lot of stupid shit. So if you like this stupid shit, I wish you well. God bless you. Darwin's Paradox is the tactical octopus game, side scroller or something. And it's like Metal Gear related. I don't know. It looks cute, but it's not for me. Here's the thing. Here's the next thing. They were like, this is all like, we got a bunch of games from Konami. Check out all this Konami stuff. And so it's Metal Gear and Silent Hill, which is coming up next, blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, it's been 40 years of Castlevania. And then I think a lot of people were like, oh, okay, another Castlevania collection. And they start showing this footage of this game, and I was like, whoa, this looks like a Castlevania game that looks like the animated series from Netflix, which is really good. I know some of you have probably already seen it. I don't have any affinity or nostalgia for Castlevania. It just was not a game series that I played as a kid. And I have not really played any of the modern games, I don't think. But I loved the Netflix series. I thought it was excellent. And it made me kind of like, it was just like cool to be like, oh, they expanded this like very simple, backstory of like, Dracula's good, Dracula's bad, and you must kill him because you're a cool vampire hunter. And they extrapolated that into this very rich lore and characters. And I just think the Netflix show is good. So like, I was like, oh my God, are they making like a spin-off game from the Netflix show? And that might be true. And then as the gameplay progresses, I'm like, okay, it's just a 2D, Castlevania game. And I'm like, this really looks like Dead Cells. Like they, man, whoever made this game like really loves Dead Cells. And then at the end, it's like from the creators of Dead Cells. And Motion Twin is making a Castlevania game, and it's like, yeah, man, that is exactly who should be making the next Castlevania game. I think this looks cool. It is called Castlevania: Belmont's Curse, and I think it's cool. And I think that I will play it when it comes out if it's good. They showed off Silent Hill Townfall, which of course we had to fast forward through very quickly. Not appropriate for kids. And I'm sorry to say that I wish Colette was here to comment on it because I really didn't watch it. And I don't know exactly if this is like a long awaited game. Was this rumored and now confirmed, or is this just more footage of a game we already knew? So I'm looking forward to hearing from her because like Silent Hill is popping on. Like there's every 5 minutes there's a new Silent Hill game now. So that's great. Rev. Noir appears to be a fucking super generic anime game. So I don't know. I'm not interested in that. And lastly, as we wrap this up, because I do have to hit the road here, they finally made a John Wick game, which is, and I'm just checking the time here, so I don't get delayed. All right, I have a few more minutes. It is. Why is it taking so long to make a John Wick video game? And maybe there has been, but this is called. It's just called. It's just untitled John Wick game. All right. I have never seen the John Wick movies, and I was actually thinking, like, are these just like punching people movies, or are these like really like gory, stabby, violent movies? And obviously they are not appropriate for kids. So I was like, oh, maybe we could check them out with my son, who would love it. But yeah. So as this trailer progressed, there was a lot of like shooting people in the face and stabbing people in the eyeball or whatever the fuck it is. And so I was like, skip this. But it just made me be like, wow, that they don't. John Wick is the perfect video game. Where are all the John Wick games? So that's interesting. They showed off more of Marathon, which is Bungie's game, and I don't really have a stake in this. I'm not really necessarily chomping at the bit for this game, but it really looks cool. Like Marathon looks cool. I really like the vibes of it. So like, I hope it does what it aims to do. More games are coming to PlayStation Plus, which is Spider-Man 2 and a bunch of other stuff. They showed off Big Walk. I forget who made Big Walk, but it is this. It's another, and I do not love the term, but it's like this. It's by House. Right. So it's the Goose Game people, but it is it's a peak like, right? And I'm not really saying that, but it's like, hey, we're a bunch of weird bobblehead creatures and we're wandering around this wilderness, but it's all about cooperating and discovering things with your group of friends and collaborating to do whatever you're doing, overcome things in the environment. But it appears to be very open and free form. Which Peak is too, but Peak is more like our goal is to get higher, is to get up this mountain. Whereas Big Walk is kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'll go over here. Oh, what's this? Oh, hey, I'm over here. Can come down here, check out this thing. Whoa, this thing's weird. And I don't know. I when I first saw Big Walk, I was very interested in it. So I hope that people can get in there and we can play some games. Legacy of Kain, I don't know. Don't really know it. They showed a lot more of Saros, which is Housemarque's next. What was the original one? I don't remember. Why am I saying Revenant? It's not Revenant. It's with an R, isn't it? Come on, everybody. Housemark game. Housemark game. What is it called? Uh, uh, Saros. Come on, man. Returnal. Colette played Returnal. She really liked Returnal. I don't know what it is. These games look really beautiful, but I don't know what it is about these, like, it's like this terrifying monster that is about to kill you with very slow energy particles that will slowly come at you until you move out of the way. Like, why would any alien creature that was hell bent on destroying the world shoot very slow energy balls? I'm like, I don't know why that annoys me, but I can't get into it. I don't know what the deal is with Tokon Fighting Souls. I don't know. I presume this is a franchise. I assume this is a franchise that exists, but they showed off like a bunch of Marvel and mostly X-Men characters for this game. I'm not a fighting game person. This looks so good. I don't really even care about X-Men, and I'm not a comic book Marvel person. But if you put a gun to my head and said, like Marvel things, I think I would like X-Men. And it looks cool. Like, just like the vibes and animation of this looks really cool, and I liked it. And I think you should look at it. Also, they showed nothing except a screen of text that says God of War Trilogy Remake. I have never played the original God of War trilogy. I am liking / liked the 2018 God of War. I am super impressed by it, but I stopped playing it. Excuse me. Because mostly a me problem, but I found the control scheme to be unintuitive / confusing, and I think it's because I have been playing so many other third person action games where certain things are like, you press this to do this, and you press this to do this, and in God of War, it's like, you press this to throw your axe, and then you press this to pull the axe back. And I'm like, wait, but that button is to do running in my other games. So every time I play God of War, I'm like, the game wants you to be like, do all these sick combat moves and like grab enemies by the throat and slam them down. And I unlock this skill to do all this sick thing. And I love games like that. I love like Shadow of Mordor and these like sort of, I love third person action combat games, despite how generic they are. And I really like the game, but I'm finding it to be like, I want to do sick moves, but I can't remember which buttons to press. Why is this button over here? Come on. And I'm playing with a DualSense controller, and it's showing me circles and squares, and I'm not used to that. I usually look at A's and B's and X's and Y's. So yeah, so I just kind of like got a little like, I'm not doing this well. And then the other thing that bothered me about God of War, story is amazing, the cinematography, the graphics, the performance of the game, the characters, the lore, the world building, so cool. But every single thing in this game is mystical and magical. Like every second, every plant, every character, everything, every molecule of this game is like, this is a magical thing that is mystical and magical. And it kind of like, I think that I would like to walk around in a Norse mythological world where like, nah, this guy's just a blacksmith and this lady is just selling bread. And then, oh my God, there's a sick mystical creature. Whoa. But if everything is mystical and magical every second, then nothing is mystical and magical. Am I right? Am I right? Put that in a fortune cookie. And then they were like, so, hey, we're working on God of War trilogy remake. So I'm sure people are excited about that. I hope that's cool. And then they were like, yeah, but also What if we made a 2D side-scrolling God of War game called God of War Sons of Sparta? And it's out now. And that it looks fine. But it doesn't look fine enough for me to get it. And I think it's exclusive to PS5. Let me just Google that. What is it called? Sons of Sparta. God of War, Sons of Sparta. Is it on? I think it's exclusive. Yeah, I don't see it on Steam. Nope. Yeah, so a 2D side-scrolling action game that you can only play on the most powerful console ever created. What if the entire podcast was just me speaking out loud as I Google things? Like, how do I make this Instant Pot chicken recipe? And that was like the whole show. Thanks for hanging out with me. I am sorry we couldn't do a proper conversation, but hopefully you found this useful. I would love to know if anything here was of interest to you, whether that's simply tickling the nostalgia bones or hyping you up for a future game. Yeah. Motion Twin Castlevania and Star Wars Racing. Give them to me now. And I don't want to be a chicken man. I don't want to be a chicken man. I want to be a cat man. That's who I am in Elder Scrolls. I'm a Khajiit. Okay. Am I going to be a lizard man? Yes. Am I going to be a dragon man in a Dragonborn or what are they called in Forgotten Realms in D&D? It's not Dragonborn. It's like Draconic. I can't remember. But yes, I'm gonna be a dragon man. But I don't think that I want to be an action hero and have big swords and muscles, but then have the head and face of a chicken, because it just looks like a fucking mascot for like a chicken takeout place. You know what I mean? Like you can't look at that and not think about like the logo on the side of a bucket of KFC. That's not what action cool guys look like. Okay? That is my conclusion. Please, look, when you're finished with this, you're going to return the podcast to the library. The next person who listens to it, they don't want to start at the end. They need to start at the beginning. So please be kind and rewind your podcasts after you listen to them. And we will talk at you in 1 week's time. Goodbye.